In the 1930s, a lot happened in the 1930s. We see really also Eunice Ingham. There's a lot that's going on as far as zone theorizing systems in the 1930s as well. But also in the 1930s, a Norwegian economist coined that term, right? Macroeconomics, if you've heard of that before, or microeconomics. So it's interesting. That's at the same time as this micro map development as well. So micro theories are important. They are sometimes referred to sociologically as action theories. Okay, so a macro theory, larger, is like it's narrative, right? Its scope is large, but in being large, it's also more difficult by virtue of its size. It's just more difficult to gather specific data or information. So me as a human being, this manifestation, I'm an action-driven individual, right? I become restless in conversations that don't ultimately lead to action, even though I'm such a ruminator, right? But I want action. So this is both a benefit and a drawback, right, to my personality. But a micro theory is very interesting to me because I relate to it. I relate to it because I'm able to gather the information. It makes so much more sense. It's just a little thing that I can grapple with. And I relate to it only so far as I can also attempt to understand the larger narrative. So if we're looking at this in respect to reflexology, is I can look at something on a micro level, but ultimately it's because I want to create um, or promote change within the larger organism or the larger scale object. So another way to think about it, this macro micro theory, is what is represented on a larger scale is also represented on a smaller scale. And depending on how deep I wish to go around a particular concept or experience will determine how I will look at it and how much I will ultimately get to understand about that thing I'm looking at. So the belief system, or this belief system rather, penetrates all my existence. Like it's personal too, right? So an example of macro and micro theory relates also to, I think it relates to multiplication, simple multiplication. 1 + 1 = 2, right? 2 = 4. For instance, multiplication in a human experience would be I smile at one person, and that one person can become two. Those two may contain within them the potentiality of more, and that probability is exponential. So, and what I mean by exponential is not like fast growing. It could be quite slow moving, right? It might take time at first. This has to do with the how, right? So if I smile at someone as I'm walking down the street, they might smile back, right? But it's my how also that matters. How I smile will have the potential for greater contagiousness if it is coming from a truthful, sincere place. So if I sincerely smile at somebody, there will be a greater probability of the recipient returning that smile to the initiator or to passing it on to someone else. Okay, so this is replication, this is multiplication. This is a piece to the puzzle of mapping. The belief system umbrellas also many spiritual systems, right? The belief that there cannot be peace on a larger scale until there's peace inside myself. How can there be peace on earth if there's not peace in me, right? How can there be peace within or between countries if there's not peace in my own family, in my own heart, right? So the smaller family is a smaller version of a larger extended family or a larger extended whole. And this can go further into, this can go further. So we see each other as separate, but in order to understand reflexology, for me, I have to see the connectivity. I have to see the interconnectivity between all things. I have to see the non-separateness. I have to see the whole organism. I'm just using a mini map to get there.